There's a lot of lessons that empaths need to learn in their lives. And that's why the majority of you find yourselves in one sided relationships and friendships. You find yourselves in families where you're the one who's always giving, giving and giving and giving. And it takes a toll on you and it breaks you down. And the thing about an empath is a lot of the time they don't realize that what they're doing is detrimental to themselves. We get sick, we get headaches, we get body aches, and we just chalk it up to typical headache, something we ate, it's a cold, it's a flu. But it's not. It's our body speaking to us, letting us know that we need to stop. We need to set boundaries. We give so much to the detriment of ourselves on a daily basis. We are the sponge that never gets squeezed out and set to dry. We're constantly left sitting in a sink, soaking up water and dirt of everyone else to the point that we end up full of mildew and everybody else's stains. And it's hard. I know it's hard for you to say no. I know it's hard for you to ask for help. I know it's hard for you to forgive and walk away because you have such a big heart. Because you love everybody and you see the good in every person, no matter how badly they treated you or hurt you. You hide your sadness. A lot of the time, you cry yourself to sleep. When your partner's sleeping, you'll cry quietly in your pillow. I see you. I feel you. Other times, you walk in the shower and you turn on the music loud enough that you're actually able to have a sob. You're actually able to let it out vocally. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to feel alone. Loving someone is hard work because you have to be able to love yourself too. And a lot of people don't understand that love isn't a one-way street. It's a single-laned highway with a thin line in between. a very dotted line that's in between. And a lot of the time, as an empath, we tend to cross that line where we're supposed to keep that separation for ourselves. There is nothing wrong with you with being overly loving, being emotional, and truly seeing the best in others. There is nothing wrong with that. That is a beautiful, beautiful gift and trait to have. But you need to learn boundaries. You need to learn when it's okay to do that, when somebody really needs that love and affection and care and advice and just a listening ear that you can give. There are times when somebody really does need that shoulder to lean on and that shoulder to cry on because they're not strong enough. But the more you give and the more you give and the more you give without giving back to yourself, you wither away. There is only so much of yourself that you can give before you crash, before you fall, before you get sick. And the reason I say this is because I recently went through it. And I didn't listen. I didn't listen to my ancestors. I didn't listen to my guides when they told me I needed to stop and I needed to do self care. Because a lot of the time we give and we give and we give and we don't get in return and we don't expect anything in return because that's who we are at the core of our being. We are lovers, unconditional. We are Venus in flesh. And that is the major lesson that you need to learn is to say no. And they're going to get upset and they're going to get mad and they're going to try and gaslight you and make you feel guilty and you are going to feel it. You're going to feel it. And it's going to hurt you and it's going to break you. To have to put up that boundary and to have to say no. But you depend on it. Your life depends on it. Because a lot of people in this world, they're takers. There are not a lot of givers. There's giving, but there's giving with conditions, and that is the majority of the human race. They give to get, not give for the sake of giving. And it is the same with love. They love to get love instead of loving for the sake of loving. That is your biggest lesson. right now. That is what my guides are telling me to tell you. You need to set those boundaries. I don't care how much you love them. It can be your children, your spouse, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your best friend, your coworker, your neighbor. I don't care how long you've known them. You could have known them for 5 years, 15 years, 40 years. You have to say no and you have to put yourself first. A lot of the physical ailments you're feeling, a lot of the mental disturbances you're having are not yours, but they are attachments from the other people that you've connected yourself to that you've not learned to separate from. I'm not telling you something you do not already know. I am not telling you something that you do not already feel. You know this. This is just my confirmation from Spirit for you. It's time for you to give all of that love and care and energy that you've put out into everybody else in your life back into yourself. You need to regenerate. You need to rest. You need to sleep. Sleep. A lot of the nightmares you're having, a lot of the dreams that you've been having, they're warnings, and you've not been listening. And you need to listen. The things that stick out the most in those dreams after you've woken up and you still remember hours and days later are important. Pay attention. Set that boundary with them. You know who I'm talking about. That is your lesson. That is what you need to master at this point, right now, before the end of the year. You need to master setting up boundaries. You can love and you can love from a distance. You can love, but make sure what you're giving out, you're giving back to yourself because the majority of people you're giving to are not giving back to you, right? I know because I've been in your shoes. You are your own savior. You are your own Messiah. No one's coming from the sky. It's just you, babe. You're not alone. It may feel like you are, but you're not. There are many of you out there that feel very alone. And I know what it feels like to feel alone. But at the end of the day, when you lay down and you rest your head to sleep, who is there for you? I'm going to ask you again. At the end of the day, when you lay down to sleep and you rest your head and you close your eyes and you take that big sigh that the day is over, who is there for you? I bet the only person that ever only shows up for you is you. Now it's time to be there for yourself. This time, when you wake up tomorrow, live for you and you first, and everybody else can fall in after. Because right now, you are your main concern.